always tell when a streak's going to come to an end. You win a couple of games, you probably shouldn't.
There are teams out there that could use that quality of playoff goaltending. All right, Ray, you ready to do this?
Yep, let's go.
Powered by Red Media in partnership with TSN, Season 7 of the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast, presented by our title sponsor, Tim Hortons. Unpack your pride with Tim's Team Canada Olympic hockey cards. The first ever of its kind, Olympic theme. Team Canada set a whopping 180 cards featuring men's and women's stars, legends, duos, and gold medalists. 3 cards per pack with chances to win one of 87 Sidney Crosby cards and one of 29 Nate McKinnon signature cards. There's gift cards from Tim's and thousands of free coffee and donut prizes only at Tim's, and you should collect them all. And look, Ray, you're in Tampa Bay, and I have a
buying a house
guest
here.
Yeah, I have a special
hi.
guest on the. Hey, say hello. Yes, that is the Timbits hockey plush. Yeah, kind of cool, huh?
So my grandkids got a whole bunch of these little guys around.
Yeah,
and like they're like their buddies, right?
Well,
so this is gonna get added to the group.
Sure, yeah. Well, Holly actually visited one of the Tim Hortons branches yesterday because some good friends of ours are on vacation in Mexico. Huge hockey fans, right? Neighbors of ours at the Cabbage. And I get an SOS text saying, hey, I'm not going to be back in time, I don't think, before this hockey card campaign ends. He goes, I need to get that set. I need these Olympic themed hockey cards. And I'm like, all right, well, I didn't tell him that we have the complete set because he would want to put his grubby paws on that thing and he's not getting it, right?
And he's not that good a friend?
No, he's a very good friend.
I was going to say, but he's not that good. So
yeah. Anyway, Holly goes through the drive-through and buys a significant number of packages, unopened packages, right? So anyway, in addition to the hockey card packs, we ended up with a plushie and like a hot cold mug similar to this one. These things are fantastic, by the way. Yeah.
I like those things.
Yeah, and so I quickly took a picture, sent it to my buddy who's on the beach in Mexico with all of the cards, not like unopened packs across my countertop, and he's over the moon. That's exactly what he was hoping for. So
he's on the beach.
He's on the beach. Yeah.
Good
We're
for
still
him.
plowing snow here. Fair bit of stuff to get through in headlines. Yep. You're in Tampa Bay. And before we get to headlines, I mean, just your thoughts on what you should expect or we should expect as we record here Thursday morning. It is final regular season games before the Olympic break. And there's some dandies, including Florida and Tampa Bay, which normally could be an absolute bell ringer. I'm wondering, I guess, will it be, or could it also be a no-hitter just with respect to the number of players that Florida has going to the Olympics and then some key pieces from the Lightning as well?
I don't think there's going to be any middle ground to it. It's either going to be kind of bonkers or not at all. Paul Maurice said after their game last night against Boston, they've got 3 guys he thinks that aren't going to play today. Like, Florida is an absolute mash unit.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how it goes for some teams at in some years. You can't get past the injury bug. It's not an excuse. It's a simple fact for them. So they might not have. I mean, Marchand played very little yesterday. He scored the game winner in the shootout. That Vilmanis, who by the way, I don't know how he didn't get a major penalty
on McAvoy.
For the hit on McAvoy. He got injured and didn't finish the game. So I don't know what Florida's going to have. Tampa's got no Nick Paul, no Anthony Cirelli, no Braden Point. Like, I think everybody just wants to get to the bloody break.
Yeah.
And the guys that are going to the Olympics, they just want, in one piece, they want to get on the plane. Like, Sam Bennett got banged up again yesterday.
I know.
So it's like my gut is that it's just going to be a game. and
Yeah.
it's not going to be over the top at all.
We'll move into the headlines here in just a second. And look, I don't want you to be the eye in the sky or a TV doctor in assessing this, but so Bennett gets hurt on Monday, and it looked like he
Yeah.
got like friendly fire, a stick in the face or something like that. Like we saw him cross the blue line, and then he was holding his jaw, and that was really the only thing that we could find in going through the video. And then you see him on the bench yesterday, and he's kind of holding his face. So I don't know if the injury is facially related, but it kind of looks like it might be.
Well, I guess we'll find out in one of two ways today.
If he's got
because I thought he's got a bubble on, or he's not playing. Maybe he's one of the three guys not playing. And don't forget, you have a week until the first game.
Yeah.
And then if you don't play the first two games, you've got 10 days.
Yeah.
So, like, here's the thing with those rosters. Like, even with Point, he's skating but not playing. He's got another week to go.
Yeah. Quick healer too.
And so,
he is.
And so, it sounds like they're going to wait. Because they think he's in that time frame, and it's for a lot of players, like a lot of players, we talk a lot about the U.S. and Canada, but the Swedes are waiting the same thing. Like, they don't have Landeskog yet. Is he going to be ready? And it seems like it, but you never know. And so it'll be pretty close, I think, for quite a few players.
All right. Well, big trade before the Olympic roster freeze, so let's get to that in headlines. Brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. Hockey lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. You can catch every game with their beer specials, game day prizes, so much more, all at the best hockey house in town. See in-store at thecanadianbrewhouse.com for details on what your local brewhouse is up to this hockey season. All right, less than an hour before the Olympic roster freeze, news breaks. Credit to Emily Kaplan and Adam Schefter. Artemi Panarin traded to the Los Angeles Kings, Ray. New York retained 50%. They get Liam Greentree, who's playing in the Ontario Hockey League, so a prospect, and potentially 2 conditional draft picks. Now, people just sewered Chris Drury for this trade. Didn't get enough, not even close for Artemi Panarin. But New York had no leverage, nothing to play with. It became very evident that Panarin wanted to go to Los Angeles. That's where he was steering this thing, or potentially wasn't going anywhere. And New York ends up getting nothing in the end of all of this. So for the LA Kings to get Panarin, with all due respect to Greentree, again, might turn out to be a real good NHL player, and the draft picks. Kenny Holland gets a high-scoring winger and a 2-year contract extension at $11 million per. This is can't lose for the Los Angeles Kings.
The only thing I would say from the New York end, Dregs, is I know they held Panarin out for the last couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was in concert with Panarin trying to figure out which teams he would or would not go to. But you're trying to gain any leverage possible if you're New York. Because you don't really have much. Why did they have to make the trade? This would be my only critique. Why did you have to make the trade now? Why not wait until the 10 days after the Olympic break?
Yeah.
Like, why not wait? What if in those couple of weeks, in concert with Panarin and his agent, you try to build a couple of different teams? Now, that's what they've been doing, of course, anyway. And maybe there's nothing else to it, right? Maybe they just couldn't get there. But the time of it didn't seem like it needed to be now.
Yeah.
But maybe in New York, they're like, you know what? We got to turn the page. Well, you got a 3rd and a 4th round pick and a prospect. I think for LA, they clearly have to add offense.
Right.
I will say this. If the style that Jim Hiller is playing in LA is very much not a puck control system, but an ice control system, that's not going to work. That's not how Panarin plays.
No, he does not.
I'll be very interested in watching that. Like how does he fit in? They're not a super fast team, but man, if you're Adrian Kempe or Kevin Fiala, you got to be thinking, oh, I hope I'm the guy that gets to play here because the puck will be on your stick. I guess it would be Kempe. He's the more the shooter, but man, that would be, if I'm those two guys, I'm pretty excited.
And should help their power play, obviously, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Panarin's a terrific player. He's in the same mindset of play as Kucherov, right? Like they're kind of artists. Now, I've watched Kucherov twice in 3 days get 4 points in a game.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this guy is, whatever the peak of his game is, right now he's at it. If people listening haven't seen the play he made in overtime to send Jake Gensel in on the breakaway, go watch it. It was I don't even know. I know how he knew he was there, but after the first pass got blocked, he just turned around and put it right on his tape 110 feet away. Like unbelievable. That guy is so good. So good.
We'll talk about the Edmonton Oilers in just a moment here, Ray. There's really nowhere for us to go in another big story, breaking news on Wednesday night, and that is the open investigation surrounding allegations. 18-year-old Gavin McKenna is facing a string of charges following an alleged altercation on last Saturday. So look, to be prudent, we will wait for the facts to be presented and to hear Gavin McKenna's side of the story. So all we've got now is a police report and essentially multiple reports from many different agencies. So as this story evolves and the facts come to the surface, then I think we revisit at another time. So let's go to the Oilers.
Sure.
Okay. They've lost 3 in a row. Devin Cooley makes 36 saves in net for the Calgary Flames in a 4-3 win in the latest Battle of Alberta on Wednesday. Leon Draisaitl said a lot post-game, including, we're different teams. And he's referring to the Oilers and where they were probably last year, the year before. We're not the same team. We're not as good right now. We're not even close. We need to understand that. It's time. And then I'll paraphrase another quote, which was more direct, right? And that was, he essentially called everyone out, including himself, as a leader, right? But, the coaches, everybody is to blame and needs to get on side and needs to figure this out coming out of the Olympic break. Not many players in the league can get away with being as blunt as Leon Draisaitl is or was after another loss. I mean, he just called it, said it like it is.
Oh, gee, what do you think they'll be talking about in Edmonton today? Right? Like, but here's the thing, like, this is who Leon Draisaitl is.
Yeah.
Even the part that we see, like, of course, there's so much more to players you don't see that, behind the camera and in the locker room and, with their teammates and all that. But Draisaitl doesn't dance around the edges of anything.
Never.
He's like, this is what I think, and his production gives him that, in my opinion, gives him that weight of opinion.
Yeah.
Like, he can say whatever he wants.
Yep.
I thought at the beginning of the year, this is the worst of the Oiler teams of the last 3 years. And I still feel the same way. The problems that they had in the past, always the chase of balance behind McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, and in particular, like the balance past that, they've never been able to solve that, right? That hasn't been the case. They shuffled the deck chairs in goal. Do they seem any better? Do they seem any better with Jari and Ingram than they did with Skinner and Pickard? They don't. No. To me, it's just like two different guys, and I don't see that they've made a grand step forward in goal. And in that trade, I know he had a tough start. I kind of like Kulak. I think Kulak is I think it's a piece they probably could use. But the real problem is up front. They're, they hang everything on, in particular, the two guys, right? And they're so good, man. They're just so good. But that's not how you win. And we've seen it because they've just gotten right to the precipice twice and not been able to win. They're lucky that the Pacific Division is in shambles right now. So is Vegas, by the way. And nobody's running away from anybody, and they've got some time to, I guess, to regroup, but it's not like the plan's going to be any different on February 24th than it is now.
Right. Yeah.
Like how are they going to improve their team? How do you do it? What are your assets to be able to trade to improve? I think at the fine line that they're at, the Oilers, the win or don't win point, not like trying to get to the playoffs. It becomes more and more difficult. And as of now, they have not found the answer.
Okay. Why don't we have some fun and play who's in and who's out with the Olympic break right on the cusp here, right? And then, you're away, much deserved trip next week. So you won't be with us on the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast next week. So let's have some fun. Okay.
I'm just digging up the standings right now. Come on, give me a second.
I mean, some of it is going to be adjusted based on what happens Thursday night. Tonight, we're recording this morning. So let's start in the East, where the Toronto Maple Leafs had a successful road trip. They did, touring through the West, but they're 6 points out. They have 25 games left. Do they make it or do they not?
I'm looking at this now, Dregs. I thought I knew this, but I'm really kind of stunned. Is that so? The two wild card teams, right, are from the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Now Columbus somehow has crawled their way back. What is Rick Bowness doing? They won 7 straight games under Bowness here.
I know.
So now they're only 4 points behind Boston, but from 5th to 1st in the Atlantic is 7 points. Right? I don't think Boston can catch Tampa because it's 7 points. And I think Tampa's a better team. But can Toronto make up 6 points on Boston or Buffalo? That really, right? Like, there's no real difference in my mind between those teams. They're kind of all the same. I don't have it in my gut that Toronto's going to hit this long stretch of consistent play.
Right.
And that's really what is going to determine whether they can get in or not, because they've played really good stretches for 4 or 5 games, and then they give it all back, and then they play 4 or 5 good. They can't do that. What's there going to be, like 25 games left for most of these teams when they come back, and it's going to be. And here's the other part, Drake. It's in 50 days.
I know.
So I'm going to say no. Because don't forget, they're also tied with Washington.
Right. Yes.
And, and Florida's 2 points behind them. It's not like there's a bunch of free points around.
No. But look, this. I mean, you deal with hockey operations people multiple times a day. It's not like Brad Treliving and the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking at now the break between the end of the Olympics and March 6th and going, ooh, okay, well, if we win a couple of games in that stretch, we're right back in the thick of things. Maybe that changes our plan on March 6th. No, it's not about a win here or there. Toronto knows and can see the flaws, like a lot of teams, right? In their lineup. And so when you look at the pending unrestricted free agents, the buzz around Bobby McMahon, maybe Scotty Lawton, some of the other pieces, those pieces are going to be in play as Toronto tries to better itself in the future. Maybe it comes at the expense of a playoff spot. Maybe, but by virtue of what the GM does, those are decisions that have to be made and I think have been made to this point.
Okay, Drake, so you also know this, and I think it's really instructive and important, is yes, the GM's making those decisions, but if they're trading McMahon and Lawton and moving on from some of these pieces, which makes them a worse team because they're not trying to get players back, they're trying to get picks and futures back. That has to go up the chain beyond the general manager. That's buy-in from the management, or rather the ownership. And there is no president in Toronto anymore. That goes right up to Keith Pelly. And So they're going to have to decide from the dollars and cents part, do we make this step? Because if you
Right.
do, you're clearly looking forward, which I think is the right move for them.
Mm.
Because if you sign Bobby McMahon to an extension, you get Bobby McMahon, he just costs you more money. You don't get a
Yeah.
better player. You get the same
No.
player, but he costs you more money.
Yeah.
And they've got 63 points. So they need to find a better way forward. If that includes McMahon, then maybe they're trying to make the playoffs. If it doesn't, then you step back, you take some assets, and now you use the little bit of money that he makes this year. I think is he like at 1.5 or something, Dregs?
135. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like you're getting a bunch of cap space. You're getting 135 in cap space.
Yeah.
And then you've got to go and try and replace him with futures. So that'll be their internal battle.
Okay. Who's in, who's out? You referenced the Pacific Division as we shift to the West, and it is a dog's breakfast in that division. Vegas, the Oilers,
is.
Seattle, Anaheim, LA, San Jose. All right, so if we look at the Sharks, 5 points back as we record with 27 games left. You've got Nashville 4 back with 26 left. You've got LA 3 back, now with the juice of Artemi Panarin, 27 games left. So who's in, who's out?
I think one of Seattle or Anaheim is not going to make it. I just don't think. I do think Utah's going to have enough to make it.
Yeah.
I do. They're a really good home team, really good.
Mhm.
I do think they'll make it. So if one of Seattle or Anaheim does not make it, that gets you to LA, Nashville, and San Jose, and I think LA is going to make it. Just out of those teams, I mean, Steven Stamkos can't score every game, can he? Like, remember at the start of the year, he didn't have any goals, and now it's like he literally scores every game. But if you're Nashville, are you trying to make the playoffs this year, or are you gonna have a new general manager? What is the going forward plan there? And that's where this gets way more complicated that we could never know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as San Jose, I don't think they're going to make it. Celebrini's unbelievable season notwithstanding, I don't think their defense is good enough, and Askarov is still growing in goal. Like he's got too much up and down to him still. I think they've got a really good one, but to me, it just seems a little bit advanced for where they're going to finish.
And wide open again as we try and look into that crystal ball of projecting not only who the playoff participants are, but then trying to map out, okay, well, who's the top dog aside from the obvious. We can all look at the standings and the ups and downs of Colorado, mostly ups, but late they've had their downs. Dallas in the West. I mean, just keep going. So
Minnesota,
Minnesota,
the best teams.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: like the best teams are in the Central, but the way the playoffs are, if you're a team from the Pacific, you probably only got to beat one of them.
Yeah.
Right, because they're going to bludgeon each other in the first 2 rounds, and then you get whoever's left.
No. Just a quick aside, and then we'll shift over and move into Ask Ray and Dregs anything. I don't know how much of the game you caught last night between the Jets and the Montreal Canadiens, but
I did not. That was bad. I saw Arneil's
comments on
after.
the fans. Yeah, that's a tough one because it would be disappointing for everybody associated with the Jets when the cheers for the Montreal Canadiens are louder than that for the Jets. But I mean, that comes with the territory, right? I mean, we watched the Leafs go through Edmonton earlier this week, and the Go Leafs Go chants were every bit as loud as Go Oilers Go. I mean, that's just the original 6, and the fact that there's lots of
it's the same in Vancouver.
Right.
It's the same in Vancouver. When my parents were watching hockey, my dad was a Montreal Canadiens fan. Loved the Canadiens, loved the way they played, and I couldn't. I just couldn't get on the Canadiens bandwagon. I was a Bruins guy when I grew up, and so of course they got to taunt me every year because the Canadiens beat the Bruins. But they weren't Canucks fans; they were Canadiens fans, and all the people I knew were either Leafs fans or Habs fans.
Yeah,
and
same.
Going through the prairies, same thing. That even if the Jets were rolling along, you would hear the Canadiens fans in Winnipeg.
Yeah,
you would for sure. Now, by the way, Montreal, they're fun. There is not much boring about them as was said earlier about Anaheim. There's no lead safe either way.
Yeah.
Whether they're up 3 goals or down 3 goals, there is something going on. And there they are. They sit just a couple of points behind Tampa. They've had a pretty terrific, first 57 games.
All right, those are your headlines. Thank you to the Canadian Brewhouse. We're going to bring in Chris Zabunya. Zuby's coming in for double duty, Ray. So not only is Zuby managing the Tim's Hockey Challenge, which we'll get to in a couple of minutes, but Ryan Rashog has appointed Zuby as the host for Ask Ray and Dregs Anything. And he's going to pepper us with, 3-4 questions. But be mindful, Zuby. Watch your clock, because Ray is on a very strict timeline, and we need to get out in 15 minutes. So have at it.
All right. Well, no joking around then. No clever.
Yeah, move it along. Hurry up. Chop.
Let's go.
Right into it here. All right. In the email, from the email inbox, we got this one from Sean S. He says, "Hey guys, with a couple of goalie fights recently, which goalie, past or present, do you think could have actually been their team's enforcer?" A couple of names come to mind, but you guys would have some more insight on that. Who were the toughest goalies? Who could have been the team's enforcer, Dregs?
Automatically, I think of Ray Emery, because he loved it. He just loved it.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. He just, the evidence is there. You can Google, you can check out the videos of Emery fighting and just smiling ear to ear. Ray, your vintage would be what? Hextall, Billy Smith, anyone else in that era?
Well, I played junior with Ron Hextall. He had 100 penalty minutes.
He was tough. Yeah.
You know who else was tough? Was Felix Potvin.
Sneaky tough. Ask
Etsy. And there's a great video of somebody running into Billy Smith and one of the Islander defensemen jumping in, and Billy Smith pushing that defenseman away because he wants to fight the guy. So I would say those guys would probably be the guys I would think of.
I feel like in the modern vernacular, Hextall's name is out there, and I remember Billy Smith, and Billy Smith should be right there for the same kind of stuff.
He's in that conversation.
Okay, let's go to Diego Gomez. This one came in on Twitter. He says he's a Red Wings fan. He says, "Do you think Moritz Seider can win the Norris Trophy, or will that trophy continue to go towards offensively minded defensemen?" Seider's got that, but not at the highest level that we see from the Makars and the Hugheses, but really good defensive metrics. Ray, where do you think he would slot into that conversation year over year here?
Well, I think he's going to be in the top 5 this year. I don't think there's any question. The points matter for sure, especially when the points we're talking about are excuse me, at such a elevated level. Hughes and Makar and Werenski are going to be in that group at the very top as well. So I don't think he'll get enough support for it. But he's having by far his best year already of some very good years. And man, he plays 25 minutes a game. He's been an absolute beast for Detroit. And I don't know if I'll have a vote or not, but he'll certainly be in my top 5 for sure.
And historically, when I go through my process and pulling the curtain back here a little bit, I lean on guys, Hall of Famers, in fact, like Chris Pronger, Scott Niedermayer, to get their opinion on. And I used to do it historically. I've done it in quarters. right? Okay, what do you think of this class in the first quarter, second quarter, all the way through? And then you make your final determination at the end of the year. And I did that as an exercise because I didn't entirely want to be lured by the end of season points. There's got to be more to it, but that's just the way it is. The majority of the voters would lean. But you're also talking, as Ray has identified, when you're looking at Cale Makar or Quinn Hughes or Werenski, I mean, come on. All three of them are all around good D-men who also put the puck in the net on a rapid pace.
And Seider only 24 years old. That surprised me when I looked at that today. It goes, man, it feels like this guy's already been around for a while,
He's in his sixth year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, quick one for Ray here about the broadcast, something in broadcasting that we'll get to a fun one to wrap it up. Jason Mullica over on Twitter sent us. He said, what are the biggest disadvantages to being between the benches during the game broadcast, aside from having to carefully negotiate the ice in nice shoes? Jason says, always listening on my drive to and from James Madison University, where he teaches. Cheers, fellas. So Ray, I guess
thanks,
that's
Jason.
you're unique.
You know what?
Yeah.
The challenges are when the guys stand up on the bench and the play is on the near side. You can't see, like Nikita Zadorov stands up and it's like a building goes up and you're like, I can't very well ask him to move. It's his bench, right? So fortunately, they do have a $20 million clock in the middle of the rink. And so I can just look up. That the one danger with looking up is as you're looking up, if somebody fires a puck, you're not going to see it in time.
Right.
So that's usually for a quick little peek. But by far, the biggest challenge is the near corners and the guys standing, because they're trying to see as well. I've got great looks at the goalies. I can see where the advantages way outweigh the couple negatives that a limited sight line would give. As far as going across on the ice, you don't pick up your feet, you kind of shuffle. And I've told this story before. I know I'm going to run into my own time here, but the late Brad McCrimmon, the beast, frickin' one of the most terrifying guys to play against. They used to have to walk across the ice in San Jose. So at the end of the second period, I see him walking across. His steps couldn't be smaller. He's just like little inching his way, shuffling his way. So I say to our producer and director, I'm like, hey, get Brad when he comes back on the ice. I want to see if he walks the same way. And so we showed him walking on. I go, yeah, that guy's the beast. Look at him. He could barely stop. It was so funny. So funny. And somebody from home must have sent him the clip. So he got me before the next game. He's like, hey, what are you showing that stuff for? I'm like, sorry about that. It was pretty funny. What
Fantastic.
a guy.
He's a terrific guy.
All right, last one, quick one. We'll do a really quick hockey challenge update and get Ray out of here. This one's from Paul in Cleveland Heights. He says, love the show, fellas. Thinking back to players closer to the era of Slapshot, do either of you know of any players who ever used their own poor personal hygiene as a part of their repertoire to aggravate or disgust their opponents? Dregs, you want to go first?
I'll go. Yeah, I will go first. And it's secondhand, but it comes from direct source. Keith Jones, our buddy. And he would say this with pride. And there was probably several players back in the day. I mean, in that era, they didn't change their gloves, 10 times a game, right? I mean, they just didn't. So Jones,
and the gloves were made of leather. The gloves were made of leather. The palms stink.
So Jonesy would go into scrums and stir it up, and he'd say, give him the old stinky glove. And he'd rub his stinky, rotten, sweat-induced glove in the face of the guy that he was, exchanging with, and just giggled when he talked about it because it was his favorite thing to do.
We had a guy in L.A., Doug Zmolik, tough guy, but wasn't one of the super heavyweights, but he was one of our tough guys. And he had to fight the tough guys on occasion. So we're playing this other team. I'm not going to say the guy's name. And he says before the game, he's like, hey, leave that guy alone because if it gets all goofy out there, I got to fight him, and he's got the worst breath in the league. And so we just thought it was so fun, right? Like, so we're like, hey, leave that guy alone. Otherwise, he's got to chew on that guy's breath. So.
There you go, Zuby. That's good
great.
stuff.
Great thing to be known for out there. You want to, but
yes, exactly.
Another deterrent to keep.
Just had a garlic sandwich prior to warm up. I'm good to go. All right, let's get over to the Tim's Hockey Challenge, and I'll lead you in here, Zuby, and I'm going to take it on the chin. Speaking of fighting, because back-to-back 0 for 3s. That has not happened to me or my team all season long. That. Here we are. I'm going to wear it. I'm going to own it. The door is wide open to all participating in our group.
Yeah, and Ray's the one taking advantage. So, yeah, Dregs was 0 for 3. Ray got 1. I think you got 1 at the other time also that Dregs threw up a donut here. So
no, I only had 2 that other time.
Oh,
so
I see.
I picked up 3 on it.
Wow.
I'm coming. Look out, Dregs.
Ray is within 5. Dregs has 32. Ray's got 27. And I'm very surprised that Randine Rashog, with this opportunity that's been given to her, also went over from Tuesday's games. So Schauger still lagging.
Interesting.
17. I had a 9-game heater snapped last night. I'll tell you, it's
gonna happen though, Zuby. Right? It's gonna happen, man.
I had Pavel Dorofeyev looking me right in the face in that third bucket, and sometimes the answer is so clear you should just take it. And I got fancy, and sure enough, he scored. And I missed it there. So, and I've got 98 totals hanging onto this 28% clip for the Ray and Dregs official account. And last one here for a little bit tonight. So make sure you get them in a decent slate here on the last night before the break.
I'm rubbing the plushie's head. The Tim Hortons
there you go.
Plushie. That's good luck right there.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Zuby.
All right, thanks, fellas.
Appreciate it, buddy. All right, Chris Abunia joining us for Ask Ray and Dregs and the Tim Hortons Hockey Challenge. Raymond, one more game for you, the Battle of Florida, and then you just kind of setting yourself up for the weekend, for the big trip ahead, or what's on the menu?
I am. I got my, actually, though, I played golf yesterday. Golf is my trip next week. My son and his family are in this weekend, so it'll be a real nice time at home. And
good deal.
Then I'm off to some good weather for a week, play some golf, and then back at it. In a week we'll be watching the Olympics and chasing the hockey tournament, and a lot of good stuff there. But looking forward to the break, and to everyone that listens to us, thanks so much. And I'll catch up to you in a couple of weeks or 10 days or so. But Dregs, thanks a lot. Hope you and your family have a good little relaxing time as well. Thanks, everyone.
Heading to the Cabbage. Little ice fishing next week. So
nice.
Looking forward to it. All right, buddy. Safe travels and hit it well.
Thanks. You bet. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Thank you to all who continue to support the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast. Our title sponsor, Tim Hortons, thank you. And thank you to the Canadian Brew House. Until next time, enjoy the Olympics and stay safe, everybody.